Hey guys! Today I want to talk about 6 language learning myths that you probably have heard of before, or maybe you even still believe some of them. And number 1 is you can learn a new language in X amount of days or weeks or months. Now, this is one of those myths that I really wish were true. When I consider all the time and effort and years it took me to learn how to speak Spanish. Now, I'm not saying that in a matter of weeks or months, you can't learn a lot of the language if you are really putting in a lot of the time and the effort. You could probably learn how to say just the basic things. What do you do for a living? Maybe talk about the weather a little bit, talk about your family a little bit. But to really be what I consider fluent, which is to be able to have extended conversations with someone on a wide variety of topics. If you're fluent, you should be able to talk about almost anything. And I'm not saying that you know all the terms for every subject, but if you're fluent enough, you should be able to explain what you mean, to describe something that you mean, even if you don't know the term for it, so that a native speaker is able to understand what you're trying to say, which really means that you need to have a good grasp of a wide variety of vocabulary words, and you need to have a good command of the grammar. And I'm not saying that you're perfect. You are able to express yourself with someone and they are able to understand you. Unless you are some type of language savant, which 99.9% of the population is not, probably it's going to take you a lot longer than a matter of days or weeks or months. And myth number 2 is fluency means you don't make mistakes anymore. Now, I've already described what I think is fluent, being able to have extended conversations with people in a wide variety of topics. And that does not mean that you don't make errors. I mean, come on, even native speakers make errors. We make mistakes in our own languages. Mistakes happen. Of course, if it's not your native language, you're gonna make mistakes. It doesn't mean that you're not fluent. Usually, people who believe this are people who have never studied a language before. You can become more and more fluent as time goes on, and you will probably make less mistakes, but they're gonna pop up every now and then. Now, myth number 3 is that you will always continue to learn at the same rate. When you are first starting to learn a language, your vocabulary is going to exponentially raise. You're gonna learn so many words so quickly, but you're gonna hit what's called the intermediate plateau. After you are to a certain point where you're able to have conversations with native speakers, you're gonna hit this little flat line. And you're gonna think my language learning has died, because it's gonna take a long time to really push from that intermediate stage to that advanced stage. You might get frustrated and you might think that you're not learning, but you are learning. It's just that it's harder to see your progress because it is such a slow rate. And this is mainly because now you need to learn more complex words. You've learned all of the high frequency words, and you need to learn the low frequency words, the words that don't come up so often. That is not so easy to remember because you may use it today and you might not use it again for another 6 months. Don't get discouraged if you hit that flat line, because you are going to push through it and you will hit that advanced stage. Now, myth number 4 is that if you just learn enough vocabulary, you're going to naturally be able to speak and understand native speakers. Many people want to learn a lot of vocabulary, learn a lot of phrases, and they really don't want to practice speaking. They may be a little shy, a little scared to speak with native speakers. They just learn tons and tons and tons of vocabulary, and they think, well, if I just learn more and more and more, then I'll be able to speak. And it doesn't work that way. If you want to speak, you have to practice speaking. There really is no way around it. I can't say this enough. In order to be able to speak and understand, you have to speak and you have to listen. Myth number 5 is you're just not good at learning languages. Sometimes we try to learn languages and it is so hard and it's so difficult, and we might hit like this point where it seems like we're not improving. So people just think, well, this isn't for me. I'm just not good at this. I don't happen to believe that. I believe that pretty much anybody can learn a language. I mean, you learned your first language, didn't you? There are many people who use one method, other people use another method, and not everyone is the same. So you have to find out what is that right method for you, what's going to help you to learn a language, and be persistent. Put forth the time, the effort, be consistent, and use the correct method, and you can learn a language. And last but not least, the last one is I'm too old to learn a language. For anyone who believes this, I have 2 words: Steve Kaufman. This dude is like, he's awesome. He is a guy who speaks something like 12 languages, maybe more. I think he's around like 74 years old. He's still actively learning languages. He has a YouTube channel. If you don't already know him, probably if you've been watching language learning videos, you've already run across him. I think he started learning the majority of his languages when he was around 50 years old. So you're never too old to learn a language. Okay, well, those are my 6 myths. Please leave a comment and tell me, did I miss anything? Have other myths that you can think of? Please like and subscribe to my channel and check out some of my other videos. And until next time, ciao, ciao.